All right, welcome back to First at 4. Today we're talking about the importance of keeping an eye out for new scams and new ways that criminals could take advantage of you. And, you know, one of the ways that it's happening in our region is certainly not new, but it's a concern for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. The theft of checks from mailboxes. And here to talk about that and ways to make sure you don't become a victim is Vince Walters with the Washington County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office. Thank you very much, investigator. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
This is not a new problem, but you're hearing about it more than you care to.
Yes.
Tell me what's happening.
Well, there's several victims that are having their checks stolen out of their mailboxes. There's some people that have old checks from closed accounts that they're just keeping around their home that are getting gone.
And then people are finding out about missing money. How? Is their bank calling them, or are they just all of a sudden noticing less money there than they thought?
They'll see their statements basically and will know that there's money missing there, and then file a report because they didn't make the purchases with that or write those checks, and then we get involved.
And then you're like, if we had only maybe been able to prevent this. Now, I'm thinking with the old checks, the ones that are shoved up in the file drawer at my house, that's an easy one. I can shred those, burn those, dispose of those. The harder to stop is the mailbox threat, because I can't stand by my mailbox all day.
That's
right?
correct.
That's a big concern. Is that where you're finding a lot of that happening?
I am finding some of that happening around the county, and it's just disheartening.
For sure. Especially for people in times like this,
Yes.
when every dollar counts. Let's walk through some tips that you have given us, and this is some great advice. Number one, have checks sent to your bank. They'll call you, right? Yes. Ideally, that's what happens.
Yes.
Shred those old ones.
That's correct.
And that's super important. And then don't throw checks in the trash. Related to that shredding issue, you do have criminals that will look in the trash.
Absolutely.
They're not too picky to get their hands a little bit dirty, right?
A new way every day.
Yeah, and shredding is I would think the best way.
Yes.
The best way, for
Yes.
sure. Okay, debit card safety also something you're concerned about out of those mailboxes.
Yes.
And those debit cards, you're just a swipe away from losing immediately that money out of your account. So let's work through some tips that Investigator Walters sent us about that. Use banking online to pay bills and keep a check on your account. Also ask the bank to hold your debit card for pickup instead of mailing it. And don't share that PIN number. What do people need to know about a debit card as compared to like a credit card?
Well, basically to spend money off of that debit card, you don't have to physically have that debit card. If someone's got that number, if they've got that PIN number and that security code, they can make purchases at some places without those. And it's just really easy to have those numbers and get those numbers from different purchases that you might make online, that you might make through restaurants, things like that.
You know, I remember a day when you literally balanced your checkbook, and now I think so many young people are watching that balance on an app.
Yes.
So for us older folks, I would think it's especially important that we keep an eye on our account. Is that true?
Yes, that's why we wanted to come in today, is just to let these older folks that may not have Facebook, that may not be able to see social media posts that we make, is, you know, if you've got those old checks, shred them, get rid of them. Don't keep them laying around even if they're in a safe. We want to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of.
Fantastic advice from Vince Walters, one of the investigators at the Washington County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office. Thank you, investigator. We appreciate it very much. As always, great advice.